Welcome everybody and welcome to Gardening at the Root, where we start our garden from the root. So on this video we're just going to talk about seeded potato. I know you have heard all things about seeded potatoes, how to start the seed potatoes, but I just wanted to go a little bit more deeper inside of our conversation and show you how I save my seeded potatoes and use some of it for cooking. So as you know, it's starting to be very hard for a lot of people to be able to afford just basic groceries and to try to start a garden from what they have, as far as the little bit of funds they have and the groceries that they have in their house. And so from this video, I just want to be transparent and show you maybe an alternate way that you've never thought of. Instead of saving the whole potato, how we can cut that down and still use your potato for cooking. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and let's get started. Welcome back to Garden at the Root. So we're going to talk about seeded potatoes. Of course, there are two different variations of seeded potatoes where you can actually go into a company or your local nursery and you can buy seeded potatoes where the farmers or the producer have already set sale for those seeded potatoes, so that you can just automatically take those seeded potatoes and put them in your garden. Well, today's video we're going to go a little bit deeper and just say, for instance, you can't get to your local nursery or even a certain company to get your seeded potatoes, and you really want to start your seeded potatoes outside, whether the weather permits you or not. You want to make sure that this is going to be the right temperature for you outside, that you can grow your seeded potatoes, whether you get it from a company or you do from what I'm about to share with you. All right, so in this video, we're talking about the seeded potatoes you can get from your local grocery store. Again, there is two different variations of seeded potatoes, but we're talking about this variety where you get it from the grocery store. As you know, in this day and time, people are really struggling to provide the adequate food that they need for their families, to put it in their house, in their kitchen. So on today's video, we're trying to just break down some easy ways so you can not only feed your family with what you have, also take a little bit of it, not too much, and plant it in your garden so that you can not only be able to bring more potatoes, but also be able to harvest them and keep some for the next growing season. So what I have in my hand, of course, you have definitely seen some typical sprouted potatoes. As you can see, the difference between these sprouted potatoes is I actually got these potatoes from the grocery store. Organic is best. A lot of times you want to be able to get organic potatoes from your local grocery store. That way you know that they have not sprayed any growth inhibitors on it, where the seed, the sprout, I call them eyes, start to form on the potato. But for me, it is up to your budget. Everybody doesn't have access to organic potatoes, and everybody just doesn't have access to how much organic can cost in your local neighborhood. So we want to use the next best thing is potatoes, okay? So it's totally up to you what variety of potatoes that you want to use. Usually I try to find potatoes that are on sale, that are easy on the pocket and the wallet for me. Any potatoes that I can find that I can get a more abundance out of it, I usually try to buy the 5-pound bag. That way I can use the 5-pound bag for in the house as well as in my garden. It gives me a more yield to my garden, so that I can keep continuing to grow potatoes as much as possible. So these particular potatoes, if you're not going to use organic, which is totally fine, what I do is, once I realize that I'm going to use some of the potatoes that are in my bag, or even if I don't know that those are going to be the potatoes that I'm going to use, okay, I still go in and I wash my potatoes off really well. It is very important, no matter if it's organic or not, to wash your potatoes off. Wash them before prepping. Wash them even when they're in the bag. I do pull them out when I do buy my potatoes from the store, and I wash them very well. Warm water or even cold water. I like to use cold water and a little bit of salt and apple cider vinegar. That way, if there is any germs or anything that has been transported um, in the facility, as far as bagging the potatoes, I try to make sure they are super clean before I actually put them inside of another bag. So it's totally up to you. Everybody does things a different way, but I just want to share with you some easy tips that I like to do to not only keep me not spending so much money, but making sure it's easy on the pocket as the wallet. As you can see, we all have seen these dreaded seeded potatoes where they actually start to sprout, and we're thinking, oh, it's really bad, so we can't keep it, and we just throw the whole potato away. That doesn't mean that your potato is bad. Once you start to see the eyes form on your potato, that just basically means that your potato is actually starting to sprout and it's doing what it's really originally supposed to do. Okay, so what I do, instead of throwing the whole potato, so remember, we're trying to be more frugal with our grocery. So instead of me throwing this away, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to still be able to use these potatoes, okay, as well as use partial of the eyes for the garden, okay. And so here I have a couple of them if you want to see, and then I will actually show you exactly how I do it. So first of all, of course, you want to just make sure you look around the potato and just make sure there's not any molds or mildew or anything on the potato. Most potatoes, just because they sprout, doesn't mean that they're bad. They're most of the time, 99% of the time, they're still great to use. So in this case, I have so many eyes on this potato. Instead of, again, me wasting the potato, we're all about making sure that we be as productive as possible when it comes to not only growing our own food, but being able to feed our family, okay? So you gotta realize too, with the potato, all you really need is the eyes, okay? So what I do, instead of throwing my potato away, okay, what I do is I will actually take a little cut, and then what you want to do is you want to start to cut around the potato. You don't want to cut too much, but all you're doing, you only need a little piece. All you're doing is cutting around, and hopefully you can see this. All I'm doing is taking something sharp, and be careful. And all I'm doing is actually cutting around, okay, where the eyes are, okay? So all you're going to do, again, is cut around in a circle where the eye is located. And if you pull it back, you can clearly see that your potato is still good, okay? I just want to demonstrate this because there's a lot of people that have the eyes and they throw away the potato because they see the eyes and think that the potato is bad. And as you can see, the potato is still really good. So what I do is, I know that I'm going to use this potato for dinner. I'll just cut the little eye off, okay? And then I will use this for dinner. So I'll use this potato for some mashed potatoes for dinner. Next, what I do is I actually get a container, okay? And as I get a container, you have the little eyes in here. As you can see, all you need is a little piece. You don't need a big piece. You just need a little piece. So I have several eyes where I was able to save them. And then I'm going to actually plant these, okay? So there is ways other ways that people do it. If you have the time, it is a good idea if you let these dry out, where you want to let the bottom part dry out very well, so that when you plant them it won't become rotten into the ground when you plant it. But I haven't had a bad experience. Usually I'll take this and I will plant it in the ground and I will let it go. Okay, so again, we have one more potato here. And so again, what I like to do is I will go around the potato. And like I said, you don't need that big of an eye. And here we go. See? And we have one little eye. And this is all you need to grow a potato. You don't have to have this big old potato. All you need is the eye of the potato, okay? So we're going to go around again. And before you know it, we're just going to go and make sure you go around enough of the eye, around at least an inch above the around the eye. That way you can make sure that you're getting a good cut from the eye and you don't have to wear it. Again, you see how healthy the potato is, and all we're doing is going around and cutting the eye, okay? There's no need to throw your whole potato because you think it went bad, because it didn't. All it is actually doing what it's supposed to do. There's another eye, and then we're going to cut this eye off as well. Again, you want to do maybe an inch around it. If you feel more safe, you can do 2, okay? And again, you have an eye right here. I didn't cut it all the way, but you have an eye. I still have a little piece in the back. So again, what you can do, see, the potato is very good. So what I'm going to do is use this for dinner as well. So we have to be more lucrative of what we do in the garden. As you can see, instead of throwing my whole potato away, I have saved all the little ends. Okay, I will actually let them dry out. Okay, and once they dry out, it will turn brown at the bottom. um or you could, like, again, I said I am a gardener. As you can see how it's kind of turning brown, so you just want to make sure, even if you don't want to wait till it all fully dries out, what I do is I really like to wait till it turns brown just a little bit. What you can do is touch the bottom just to make sure that it's not wet. And if you touch the bottom and it's pretty dry, then you can actually plant these ends right here and grow more potatoes from that. That is the most easiest way that I feel like is very beneficial for those who are really struggling and those who aren't struggling to be able to afford groceries. That's another way that we can be less we can throw away less food and have more food in the house for your family in these hard times, and as well as the garden. So hopefully you learned something very easy and very simple that you can do. You can actually grow these potatoes in your garden and it will grow more potatoes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.